Across the United States, protesters against the actions and proposals of the Trump administration took to the streets to voice their concerns. In Buffalo, they gathered at Niagara Square, where they held demonstrations against those things, but also of additional concerns specific to Western New York, including mass incarceration. The World Telegram News spoke to Sean, who moderated the speeches segment during the rally.
I think it's a beautiful thing. I think it's good to come together like this, and I couldn't be any more thankful or honored to be able to have some sort of movement. So we have to do something. So I think that having a protest is the first way to do that.
We also spoke to protesters who, among other things, were concerned about government spending cuts who could impact higher education and research.
Yes, I mean, there's a lot of research going on, whether that's social science research, health research. There's vital funding. That is, I'm a graduate of University of Buffalo, and I've saw what a research powerhouse that was. And to imagine that funding being in jeopardy because of someone's political opinion, quite frankly, strikes me as un-American.
Well, all these cuts concern me. You know, education. Lack of knowledge is what's caused a lot of the trouble we have today. And they want to cut the Department of Education because they're trying to erase some history. You know, if it makes those in power, some of whom were not elected, uncomfortable, they want to pretend it never happened.
Yes, because you got to be competitive. That's the only way this is going to work. We have to educate our students, not fall behind, and that's the only way you get breakthroughs. And not funding the colleges, you're losing jobs, and the students are hurting.
I do believe that every state does have their own Department of Education, and I don't think that we need a federal department to micromanage what states can do on their own.
Sebastian Bowen was another protester we spoke to. He was concerned about the state of the now Kensington Expressway. There have been talks in recent years to redevelop the expressway to restore the original Humboldt Parkway, which was built along a predominantly black neighborhood.
It was basically weeks away from having shovels in the ground, and a couple organizations in Buffalo basically completely stopped that in its tracks. Now they are starting an environmental study, which they illegally skipped the first time around, and hopefully it could be completely restored. The 198 has plans to be removed, and that portion of Humboldt Park would actually be restored down to Delavan, but the poorer section of that neighborhood south of Delavan would still have a highway and the cap. So it shows that the state is willing to restore the parkway for a more wealthy neighborhood, but not the poorer neighborhood. So that's kind of a gist.
Running for Orchard Park Town Council is Braden McElhaney. He spoke at a similar event covered by the World Telegram News last month called Stand Up for Science.
Well, I was surprised. I ran into about 24 or so people from Orchard Park here today. You know, a lot of them are doctors, they're teachers, they're working for preschool institutions that are funded by some of the education funding, and they're also they're scared for their job. They're worried if the students that they're serving are going to get the education that they need. They're worried. A lot of our teachers and doctors work in the city, so a lot of the issues that are happening out here affect them as well. So, you know, it's very relevant to people here in Orchard Park.
On the opposite side of the political spectrum was only one person, a supporter of President Trump. A minority in the group, we managed to flag him down for an interview. You say on your sign, "Thank you, President Trump." Explain that for me.
Well, I just think that President Trump is doing what he can to fix our government, fix our country from the mess that Joe Biden left behind. I know that a lot of his policies aren't popular, and I know that a lot of his policies are being interpreted in ways that make people angry. The government, it's not meant to just grow and grow and grow with more employees as every year goes by. The government's going to fluctuate. Right now, we're at a time where we have a historically high national debt, and President Trump sees a way where we could reduce the debt, and part of that is by reducing employees that we don't need in the government.
I asked each of the protesters we spoke to about what their message was for America. Here's what they had to say.
I think the students should, answering your question, should protest or be activists and do whatever they can and let their voices be heard. It's very important this time.
Think, and I say that to my fellow Americans, think, read, don't just watch Fox News. I love, as in Trump's site, Truth Social, Truth My.
My message to the people at home is to stay positive and to find someone that you are comfortable talking to and be open with them about how you're feeling.
Just keep working hard. Just keep believing and fighting. That's all I got.
Read the news and read what's going on and understand history. I think no matter where, it's not just a Buffalo thing, but no matter where you are in America, there's a really deep, rich history, urban history. And don't convince yourself that Buffalo is a city for cars, because it's not. It was built before cars.
My message to America is stop listening to what the news media is telling you, whatever the source is. I don't care if it's Fox News, ABC, CNN, MSNBC, New York Times. You need to start listening to what these politicians are saying, and you need to watch what they're doing and make sure that their actions are lining up with what they're saying.
At Vardy Jackson, World Telegram News.